nexus. Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings. It appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
But many lawmakers are not satisfied with that answer, and now one U.S. senator for more action.
All right, that's better.
We should be doing some very urgent intelligence analysis and take them out of the skies, especially if they're flying over airports or military bases. Should be shot down if necessary because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes that may be jeopardized or
sorry,
military bases.
Good morning.
While federal officials say they've not found any malicious intent behind these drones, they say the sightings do highlight the insufficiency of authorities. Carly Anton.
As I was just telling Carly, that Fairfield train station is where I take the train. So we will be watching for drones in the coming days. Maddie, thank you. Amazon planning to make a $1 million donation to President-elect Trump's inaugural fund. The donation is being prepared by founder Jeff Bezos, who to meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago next week. Amazon will also reportedly stream the inauguration on Prime Video. Bezos is just the latest tech industry leader to show support for Trump following Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
Incoming Borders, our Tom Homan met with New York City Mayor Eric Adams yesterday to discuss the city's ongoing migrant crisis. Adams, meeting went well.
We're not going to be a safe haven for those who commit repeated violent crimes against innocent migrants and longstanding New Yorkers. We will not be a safe haven for those who commit violent acts. We don't do it for those who are citizens, not going to do it for those who are undocumented. We have the same desire to go after those who are committing violent acts, repeated violent acts among innocent New Yorkers and among migrants and asylum seekers.
Tom Hall, Fox and Friends, later this morning. And Virginia's governor doubling down on plans to participate from the growing migrant crisis, telling Fox last night about a sanctuary city ban.
I presented a clear pathway for us. First, to make sure that localities, mayors, boards of supervisors, and city councils must comply with ICE. And second of all, if you don't, I'm going to take away your funding. Bottom line is, Virginians have been suffering. Every state is a border state, and we've seen the Biden administration unleash us.
The governor's announcement comes as the state sees a surge in crimes committed by migrants in the U.S. illegally.
The suspected CEO killer Luigi Mangione recognized by San Francisco police 4 days before his arrest. Police say they recognized his face after being reported as a missing person to San Francisco police. That happening in mid-November. All this as we learn his mother reportedly spent months searching for him. United Health Group saying Mangione was never a United Health customer as they continue working closely with officials. 5 minutes after the hour now, the state of Washington could be the first to introduce a separate high school division for transgender athletes to prevent biological males from competing against girls. We've got all the details.
And take a look at this. Happening today, two luxury real estate agents known as the Alexander brothers will appear in a Miami courtroom after being arrested following sex trafficking and sexual assault allegations.
Quite the allegations in this story. Chandler Painter here with all the details. Chandler.
Hey, good morning, Todd and Carly. So attorneys for the brothers will attempt to free them on bail today in Florida, but state say both are flight risks. Alon and Orrin Alexander are 37-year-old twin brothers who co-founded the luxury real estate firm Official. Both were arrested Wednesday. The pair are now accused of raping a woman in 2016 while she was pinned down. A Miami-Dade circuit judge ordered the pair detained until their formal bond hearing today. Orrin Alexander also faces 2 more sexual battery charges from 2017 and 2021. He told the judge yesterday that he had a special reason to seek release. Watch.
Your Honor, my wife, 9 months pregnant, due any day now with our first child. Her family's in Brazil. She's counting on me to be with her during labor.
That's something, you have a very good attorney. You're going to have a hearing tomorrow, Mr. Judge.
The twin brothers also face a separate federal trafficking case in New York City, along with their older brother, Tal Alexander. He's 38 years old, and he is already in federal custody in Miami, awaiting detention hearing today.
The indictment alleges that between at least 2010 and at least 2021, the Alexander brothers worked together to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
At some point, the three Alexander brothers are expected to be transferred here to Manhattan to answer for a 3-count sex trafficking in the same court, by the way, that rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs was recently indicted in their case, guys.
My wife is 9 months pregnant and expects me to be there. That is quite the statement to say to a judge when they say that there are dozens of them forward. There's also an update, Shanley, on the Duke lacrosse case. What is that?
Yeah, that's right. You may remember, I followed this. I remember in 2006 it was, that Crystal Magnum, she falsely accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of raping her while she was performing as the stripper at a team party in year. And now, more than 18 years later, she is finally admitting that she lied about it all. The 46-year-old, who, by the way, is currently behind bars for murdering her boyfriend, said this to a news outlet from prison, quote, "I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. I made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God." The 3 Dukers were all found innocent of the crimes, but Magnum says she was not prosecuted for perjury because there were questions about her mental health that still she could not face a perjury charge even today, guys, because of the statute of limitations.
Underscores how you cannot jump to conclusions until a court of law has seen through the case. So many people convicted these people, these 3 boy media, and it turns out they were
Destroyed their lives for years, and now she's saying, yep, made it all up. My goodness. Shanley, thank you so much.
President Biden taking jabs at Republicans while speaking at a women's health research conference.
The fact is, the health of our moms and grandmothers, sisters and daughters, friends and colleagues affects not just women's well-being, but the prosperity of the entire nation. And that's a fact. We haven't gotten that through to the other team yet. No, I mean it, across the board.
Paula Scanlon is the independent women's ambassador and former NCAA athlete, and she joins me now. Paula, this coming from the leader of the party that forces girls to share a bathroom with biological and forces girls and women to play sports against biological.
I'm back.
It's just, he's so
Yeah, she lied about that man.
So much. You would
The
think they would
men's.
rethink, and so many people are
She lied.
this issue to why the Democrats lost. This lack of self-awareness here is
Lied her
honestly
pants on
shocking to
fire.
me. But it shouldn't be shocking because they believe that men belong in women's bathrooms and on women's sports teams. So of course they're and this is not surprising.
How's
Joe
everyone
Biden
feeling
himself.
this
I just wonder
morning?
if this women's health
Good
research
morning.
conference, if anybody can define a woman in that room, because it seems pretty simple to the rest
Good
of us, but so many on the
morning.
left have difficulty with that. Trump's incoming press secretary Caroline Leavitt
freaking
responding,
cold
quote,
outside again.
President Trump campaigned on making America healthy again for all Americans, including men, women, and he will deliver on that promise. Paula, does the newfound sense of optimism that the majority of the country feels following Trump's win extend to protecting women in their private spaces and in their private sports? In other words, is the tide turning on what I like to label the insanity of the last 4 years?
Absolutely. I think the tide really is turning. I mean, I think a lot of people are with the woke and the crazy, and then there's other issues to look at. I mean, it's appalling for him to say that women are one-issue voters, because we are not. I mean, if we saw what happened with Lake and Riley down at the border, that affected a lot of women. A lot of women go on runs and want to be communities. I mean, I've seen the migrant crisis happening in this country. It's appalling to think that we would just vote only on one issue, and there's just so many issues that women want to vote on. And again, this is exactly why people are fed up. It's not even just the sports issue, while that is a huge factor for a lot of voters as well.
Once the tide appears to be turning, this is a shocker because it is a liberal state. Washington State, their governing body for high school athletics, has proposed a separate transgender athletes to avoid biological males competing against girls. Is this acknowledgement, quite frankly, Paula, that the only real solution is a separate league for boys, a separate league for girls, and a separate league for transgender athletes?
Look, everyone's bringing up this category issue.
Since
and you know
when
what?
is there
If they
enough
have people
transgenders
feel
to
that
make
third
a
category,
league?
Be my guest. But to me, honestly, I think male and female is enough Again, if they want to do the third category, I'm not going to stop them. I don't know how many people are going to participate in it because a lot of the times when they find out they aren't able to infiltrate women's sport, they don't want to do it at all. Swimming tried to do this at the national, the Olympic level, not at the Olympics, at a national championship or world championship, and they had no enter the event at all. So it might be overkill. Again, a lot of the times when these people find out they can't infiltrate women's sports, they don't want to do it at all. They don't want the third category.
Exactly.
And it being a waste of time.
Interesting analysis, because I view this as the left is finally to admit that the third league is necessary. You view it from a different lens, and you were an NCAA athlete. You say, hey, they're just trying to make a point with this stance, and one third league, nobody wants to participate. Something interesting to watch, Paul. I appreciate that insight. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We will be watching. Joy Fox weather alert. Now we're watching this. Strong winds, heavy snow.
Yeah, they just want to infiltrate women's sports. That's all that is.
Deal with their third lake effect snowstorm since the end of November. Pennsylvania also feeling the effects, facing up to 2 feet of snow there.
And take a look at this, a box truck driving on a slick road in Michigan, losing control and slamming into multiple emergency vehicles as a result of the snow. No first responders, thankfully, were hurt, and the driver of that box truck was taken to the hospital with only minor injuries.
On the West Coast, the Franklin fire in Malibu, now 30% contained after torching more than 4,000 acres.
But we showed you this earlier, and it deserves another look. A cross overlooking Pepperdine University is still standing unseen. Meteorologist
That's amazing.
Forecast. Janice, remember you said yesterday that it was only 7% contained. Hopefully
one cross
is now up to 30%.
Didn't even get touched.
The weather is going to be favorable for firefighters that are area. We're going to get a lot of and the winds have died down. So that is the good news. But still 5 days active, still containment to go. But we are setting up an atmospheric river across the west yet again as we head into most of this rainfall will be the northwest, central California. But humidity is going to come up for Southern California. It's going to be very helpful for them. So there's the rain forecast, especially, the bullseye for central and northern. 6 to 12 inches will be possible through Monday. And then we have the mountains. It's going to spread into the Sierra Nevada, in towards the Rockies as well. Current wind chill. Okay, so it feels really cold across the northern plains, the upper mid. This next blast of Arctic air is sinking in, and we've got negative 19 parts of Minnesota. This time yesterday, we were talking about negative 30, negative 40. And then lake effect snow yet again after, over 70 inch snow. We're going to get 70, an additional right now 40 inches for parts of the Great Lakes. So that's a huge story. Also quickly want to make mention that because that cold air is sinking southward, we're going to have a system moving across the mid-Missouri Valley and parts of the Midwest that could bring an icy setup tomorrow. And we're getting into that busy travel week as we head towards Christmas. So just keep that in mind. FoxWeather.com is your best friend this holiday season. Definitely something to look out for.
And I thought it was Santa. Who knew? It's the Fox Weather app. Appreciate it.
I'm sure he checks the Fox. That's right. And you can get the Fox Weather app as a gift from Santa. Even though I think it's free. It's free. Okay, there you go. Even better. Janice, thank you so much.
It's free.
All right.
Horrible story here. Police in Texas searching for a driver who sped away after hitting a 12-year-old girl on her way to school. Oh my gosh, look at that video. The child was not seriously injured, but says she is traumatized from the incident. The victim was able to make it to school still and report what happened to school officials. Wow.
All right, drones are being spotted across the country with sightings recorded in Connecticut and San Diego overnight. And the White House still can't tell us where they are coming from.
I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too. We haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen it. We are still investigating this. I can't tell you definitively. I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are. I can just go back to what I said at the opening. We've looked at the imagery.
In New Jersey, Monmouth County Sheriff Sean is calling for a state of emergency over the drones, and he joins me now. Sheriff Golden, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So practically speaking, you want the governor to call an emergency in New Jersey. How would that help, and what would that do?
Well, I think, one, it will press the federal government a little bit more to come in here and investigate a little bit harder. What we've seen is kind of a tepid response, and being with the briefings, I know DHS is plugged in from Washington to some extent, and our tips are going to the FBI, but we're not hearing much At the end of the day, in New Jersey, we've seen hundreds of these reports from multiple counties and from sources that are pretty well trained. When you look at observations over Picatinny Arsenal by some of the military up there, at Naval Weapons Station Roll, which is located in our county in Monmouth, it is concerning. Definitely, these accounts are of sophisticated movements, larger objects, ranging about 6 foot, 7 foot in radius, and moving pretty fast, and sometimes traveling, shutting the lights out and traveling at a rapid pace. So, I believe that there needs more federal resources, and in order to do that, I think a state of emergency would help that out, and at least urge the FAA to do some type of TFR over the counties where we're seeing the high number, and also would allow for activation of our own Air National Guard here to do some patrol and observation, right? So just those couple of things I think would go a long way. This has been going on since November 18th in the northern county, and then in Monmouth County, over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been going on for about a month now, and it sounds like a good idea. So, Sheriff, we're working in a world of speculation right now, and some people have speculated that this could be a company like Amazon testing a delivery service, or the federal.
While hospitals have doctors and nurses, we have mom and dad. At Ronald McDonald House Charities, we help families feel at home. It can't be.
Hey, Pussycat. Hey. Good morning. Hey, buddy. Look at what you're doing. You're so weird. So weird.
Government testing out new technology. But if that were the case, would a company or the federal entity contact you and let you know that that was happening?
Well, listen, I have to say, I know these have done a tremendous job. Our Colonel Pat Callahan is doing whatever he can with the limited resources, and certainly our Office of Homeland Security here in New Jersey, the same thing. You would think that if there is commercial testing, they would go of the FAA regulations, right? When you have these flights over restricted airspace, over our military installations, and when you have drones turning off lights, which is prohibitive, again, against FAA regulations if they're doing commercial testing, that in itself would be concerning, and certainly FAA would have to take a look at it. We're making a push with Congressman Chris Smith to try to change some of the federal regulations that would allow state to have a little bit more technology and a little bit more leeway when it comes to de-droning in order to be able to bring some of these things down.
Yeah, well, yeah, so just really quickly before we let you go, we now have several congressmen and senators calling for these drones to be shot down. The latest was Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut. Why not that? Why down?
Yeah, I just think it's very restrictive on federal law for 3 federal agencies are the only ones really with the ability to de-drone, as we call it, to allow these things to be shot down or taken down with some type of jamming, frequency jamming device. So at the end of the day, we need to continue to press upon the federal government to and our Congress change legislation so that we have more tools at the state level and state policing level around the country.
It almost feels like there shouldn't even be like a law. It just seems brainer. If there's something in the sky that we don't know what it is, and it's unmanned, take it down. All right, Sheriff Sean Golden, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Absolutely. All right, Todd, over to you.
As President Biden's term comes to a close, brand new Fox News poll revealing 68% of Americans are not satisfied with our country. Joe Biden leaving office with the lowest presidential job performance in over 15 years, but some Democrats say he is one of the most accomplished presidents in history.
With the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we established one of the successful presidencies of modern times.
His legacy will be legend among American presidents because of the selflessness
Good morning, little Bo
he's shown
Peep.
over the last month.
He ended the presidency
Morning,
of
honey.
Trump
It's
at
a
one
very lucky
disastrous
day
term.
and already written down.
And he did it while being decent and civil and honorable and normal. Yep.
I love it. We all know who built the channel. So, you know. Yeah.
I think it will be that we just witnessed the worst administration and presidency in our lifetimes. I mean, if you want to compare it to Jimmy Carter, I don't know, I was like barely, on this earth, but from what I heard and what I read, that didn't go very well.
I want her to be okay.
But I really want to give some time with this 41% that approves of our absentee president, that is Joe Biden. I mean, what do they approve of exactly? The fact that he just pardoned more than 1,500 in one day. It's more than any president in history has done that in one day. They like the fact that they just had the most expensive Thanksgiving we've ever had, with food prices far too high still for many people. They like the fact that 15 million people entered this illegally, including hundreds on the FBI terror watch list. Does 41% approve of chaos overseas, war in several countries?
I just got done dealing with the kitty cat.
Than it was under Donald Trump. Does the 41% approve of pro-trans, including biological men competing against biological women in sports, including on the amateur level? I mean, I'm trying to find like some positive things to say about the Biden-Harris administration, and it's really hard.
Looks like I did not avoid this cold.
Nancy Pelosi once said that he should be on Mount Rushmore tells you everything.
I think I had the code.
What we experienced.
Yeah, I still wrestle with whether or not they were trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the voter in an election year, or whether they truly felt this and were
Good
that
morning,
out
beautiful.
of touch with where the American people are, the pulse of the voter, because clearly the election showed that they were. And that led to this Time magazine, Donald Trump.
Listen, you are in my prayers, praying hard. You're on my mind, girl. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't matter. God bless.
No other choice in 2024 because he captivated the entire year. But that said, how excruciating.
Here, let's just say a little prayer this morning for Mama Red, for Red Mama. Dear Heavenly Father, beg your attention and grace. We would love if you would place your healing, protective hand upon Red Mama Crystal today. See her through any tribulations that you might foresee for her. Give her the strength and wisdom to deal with things appropriately. And to give it to you when need be. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I hope that you have an amazing day today, and do not let the devil enter your mind and body through stress. Creates cortisol in your body, which is very deadly. Stress creates cortisol. So just breathing. Fill your belly. Deep breaths. Keep your cool. We lose our cool sometimes. Just breathe deep. And know that we are with you. We are praying for you. We love you. We care about you. Chin up, young person. Chin up. No, thank you for coming in and giving me the opportunity to pray over you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. And you'll be in my thoughts and prayers. I'm only a phone call away if you need me.
And this ain't your daddy's Time magazine anymore, that's for sure. Either way, you can't deny, even Time can't deny, that we just witnessed what was the greatest comeback in history. I mean, maybe one of the greatest comebacks we've seen anyway since the Reds over the Yankees in 2004, Todd.
Oh, sweetheart, we all need that. We all need that. Truly and honestly. Damn. I knew this shit was gonna get me. Damn weather changes.
Thursday, everyone. I'm Dana Perino for Greg on this special.
These damn weather changes go from cold last week before last week, then last week was warm, and now since yesterday and today it's dropped to fucking freezing degrees again. It's making a girl sick. Nose running, sneezing, lungs piling up. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, we all need prayer for sure.
Greg on this special edition of Gutfeld. So, with Christmas, just everyone's rushing to get their Christmas list to Santa. Well, we luckily have been able to intercept a few of those letters on their way to the North Pole. We have some of these to read to you tonight. President Biden wants the number to Hunter's offshore bank accounts. Hunter Biden wants the numbers to his dad's offshore bank accounts. Kamala Harris just wants Oprah to take her calls again. Alvin Bragg wants a clue. Joe and Mika want a show people actually watch.
Come on, Leia, get out of here. Leia.
Steve Doocy wants extended vacation for certain unnamed co-workers. Brian Kilmeade wants to sleep until 8 a.m. Jen Waters wants a more believable hairpiece. Bill Clinton wants a night free from Hillary. Clinton wants a night free from Bill. And Greg Gutfeld wants a new cradle, something for his baby.
Yeah, that's what it is. Post-nasal drip into the lung.
Some non-Christmas jokes. President Biden has roughly 1,500 pardoned 39
My nose
people
is running.
in the biggest single-day act of clemency. He even pardoned one woman for running the world's worst presidential campaign. In New York City last night, a rush-hour power outage left 3,500 subway riders stranded.
Even the damn horse is feeling it. I had to start giving the horse her cough medicine again.
The same way they always do, against each other. A truck fire covered a California highway in milk chocolate. Cleanup crews immediately called in 2 trucks of graham crackers.
Hey, did you guys hear Greg Gutfeld? I had a little baby girl over Thanksgiving break. That's why Gutfeld hasn't been doing his show. He had a little girl. That is so cool. Men are crazy, man. He's 60 years old and he just had a baby. What? Men are nuts.
Tons of Mark and Brian Stelter.
It probably don't help that I got them 2 cats in here either.
James says he's taking a break from basketball for personal reasons. He'll be spending time with his family and flopping on the ground the moment they touch him.
Oh, God.
Scientists now say that the Earth's oceans help cool global temperatures much more than previously thought. This must be why Al Gore turned himself into a whale.
Right.
Tesla owners are now buying anti-Elon Musk bumper stickers to signal virtue. We'll just wait until they find out about Henry Ford.
Right?
A man in Massachusetts became stuck in a chimney while trying to evade cops that were conducting a raid. Experts say they wouldn't even be news if everyone celebrated Kwanzaa. 83-year-old Bernie Sanders assumes this will be his last term. He doesn't want to die in office like his idol, Joseph Stalin. CNN has lost in the ratings to HGTV, proving people would rather watch grass grow than Anderson Cooper. There we go. All right, so big news this week. There's the pitter-patter of little feet around the Gutfeld home, and this time not Greg or Gus. And this happened too. Time magazine announced its person of the end to the surprise of no one. There we go. All right. They were not employed by CNN. It was none other than President-elect Donald J. Trump, as you hear from the applause. So it's the second time he had the honor, with the first coming after his presidential win in 2016. That was also the same week Hillary Clinton canceled her subscription and smashed her server with a hammer. The editorial board mentioned Trump's historic comeback, his impact on global politics, and how he increased his votes from blacks, Latinos, and people named Biden. The difference, in 2016, the cover called him President of the United States of America. This year, it's simply his name. Even there was plenty of room for cry harder losers. When Democrats win, it's a mandate. It's Camelot. It's a sign that better angels prevail. Or as Barack Obama modestly put it, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Yet when Republicans win, America's divided. It's controversial. It's bitterly contested. You hear a lot of "not my president," and it's time to put aside. Well, as much as you know me, I try to be gracious. I have bad news for those whiners. There is no your president. There's only the president, and once again, his name is Donald Trump.
And once again, his name is Donald Trump.
Popular vote, House and Senate, the American people seem to
Takes
like
forever for a cough to go away.
Yet the media and Democrats are shrieking that
Yeah, I
now,
hate it.
more than ever, we need to give demands to sacrifice democracy itself. Raising the question, why are conservatives always expected to make concessions when they win? Victoria's Democrats
I felt this shit coming on yesterday.
Toss it as hard as their spindly little wrist will allow.
I said it
Even
too. I said, I'm
Merriam-Webster is in
fighting
on the
this.
act, declaring
I lost.
polarization the word of the year. Now, that's the famous publisher of dictionaries, thesauruses, and other book buys anymore. And I'm not even sure if thesauruses is a word anymore. We define polarization as division into two sharply distinct opposites, especially a state in which the opinions, beliefs, or interests of a group or society no longer range continuum, but become concentrated at exposing extremes. It's a fun word, and it's also a choice. No one makes you be polarized.
Yes, it is a choice.
And just as no one forces you to make a TikTok
You almost
freaking
fell
out
down.
about how Trump's going to put you in a detention camp, because the fact is we're becoming less polarized. As a Harvard law professor points out in a Washington Post column this week, one of the unnoticed themes of the recent election was depolarization.
You were looking for a
The
bone and
electoral
almost fell
chasms
down.
between groups of voters shrank compared with 4 years earlier. So here are some other words.
Yeah,
work
it's a
into
poor
your
baby.
vocabulary.
Little baby.
Accountability, responsibility, perseverance, winning, and leg day.
Winning.
Leg day?
The words Republicans are expected to take on as the campaigns of 2024 turn into the victories of 2025 and beyond. The only divisions are between people who want America to live up to its potential and those who want to drag themselves and everyone else down. If you need another word of the year, here's a proven said by a man right after a would-be assassin's bullet tore through his ear. Fight, fight, fight. Who knows, if you fight hard enough, the next person of the year could be you.
Don't growl at each other.
All right, let's welcome tonight's guest. This die is less popular these days. Red number 40, comedian Jeff Dye.
Why am I not popular?
His last name is also his specialty, chef runner and author of the new book, Andrew Gruel's Family Cookbook, Andrew Gruel. Soon there'll be a tiny screaming baby that's not the one she works for. Best-selling, New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tim.
Cat Tiff.
And he's on Santa's giant list.
Cat Tiff's about to have her baby
New
too.
York best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion. It's Tyrant. I'm glad that I'm not within punching distance. We have a little thing about leg day.
No, you have a thing. And I never skip the leg day. That is blasphemy.
It just looks like it.
Oh, shit.
We'll get to that later. I mean, not really. I don't know.
Cat, stop it. You're making it worse.
I do that. Makes it okay. Yeah. Have you contributed to the polarization of the country, or are you?
Well, I don't know. In the opening, you said I'm not popular. Why did you say that about me?
That Tyrus wrote that.
I'm more popular than ever.
Your red dye number 40 is
Yeah. I'm more popular than that red dye.
You're more popular.
Red dye.
Revised, you are more popular. How do you feel about polarization?
I don't feel like
I'm polarized about polarization.
I was very excited that Trump got Person of the Year.
I'm polarized about polarization. That's what I am.
What it felt like to be a Patriot in the 2000s? You know? Win after win after win. Also, it's in news. I heard that Hunter Biden is replacing Goofus from Goofus and Gallant in Highlights magazine. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Also, too old of a reference? Perfect.
I love that magazine. And you can circle which one doesn't belong and all
Yeah,
that.
you get it.
And I know exactly.
And my mom and dad are going to love that, too.
Right?
Exactly. Andrew, do you think our love of food can help bring us back together? I mean, that's one of the reasons people go into the business.
That's true. And food is the great unifier. I always say that. But I don't think it was as everybody wants to believe.
Did
right?
you just sneeze in my face?
There's always going to be differences,
Bruh.
especially on a granular level when it comes to policy, etc. But look at all the things we agree upon, right? You've got people hate pizza. People hate tip
I
screens
love
when you're
pineapple
ordering
pizza.
takeout. I mean, I was at the DMV the other day, and they actually turned a tip screen out when I filled out my registration paperwork.
How much you tip?
25%. You know, I felt I was all self.
You don't want to be that guy.
And candy corn, hates candy corn.
I like it.
I like candy corn.
I was just going to say that one, too.
Yeah.
I'm the red dot for it. I'm the red dot. But the idea that we're all divided, that makes money, right? Just look at X, or formerly Twitter. Now everybody's posting how much money they make on X because of the engagement, and they're actually paying pretty well.
That?
If the way people make money is by starting arguments, right? That makes money. I posted that pickles are horrible in
Thank
macaroni
God. I
salad.
thought you broke your
I
tooth.
had like 70,000 comments. I made $92,000 on that post.
92,000.
The hard-boiled egg.
No, he's not serious.
I'm not
I thought you were serious. I was like, is that how people are making money now?
They're making a lot of money.
Because I've been here since 6:30 in the morning, so I don't know. Kat, do you think that Time Magazine tied themselves in knots thinking about who was going to be Person of the Year?
It had to be. It had to be Trump. I mean, I know it was him in 2016, but it had to be. Because, I mean, what a crazy political comeback. And all the things that happened, the assassination attempts, you know, the fact that he actually was shot, and then the fight, and then, you know, the fact that he won, and he won the popular vote also. And it's just been different this time. With people actually sitting down and having conversations with him. And I don't think they had a choice. I think that if they went with literally anyone else, then that would have been ridiculous.
It would have been ridiculous. Good picture, too.
Yeah.
That should have been word of the year, literally.
Literally.
I hear it a lot.
Literally, or
Yeah.
That's a good one. Tyrus, who do you blame for a division in the country, aside from me, I'm assuming?
No one believes you guys skip leg days.
Nobody believes it.
It's your best guess. You can't even pass my kneecaps. So.
True that.
There is no division because if there was, there wouldn't be 17 people watching Anderson Cooper. They would have a legions of people watching where the disinformation and where the anger is coming from. More people are watching forensic file episodes from the past than watching the left news, which means everyone gets to see Trey Gowdy at least 5 or 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
You ever notice that Trey Gowdy's on every forensic file episode? Like, he's either a master serial killer or just the greatest DA of all time. But it just goes to the point where when the media, it used to work. Legacy media used to be able to do. People would have droves, but they're not there anymore. They're losing jobs.
That
they're
was
getting laid off.
sweet.
There was this.
Thank you for
presidency,
sending me
this
the flu
campaign brought
tea.
America together. It did. They always talked about breaking the glass ceiling. Well, what he did was he broke the group
you so
box
much.
because it wasn't one group that got him past the line. Although apparently everyone wants to blame black men, but we weren't alone doing it. It was everybody across the board. Everyone said, we don't like the way our country's going. And we came together. So
yeah, I need that for
polarization,
sure.
I don't quite think
I must sound like absolute
that word
shit.
has any strength anymore for them. They're running out of things.
Damn.
I think you said it best. Accountability is the big word of the year.
Damn,
because we're seeing it, and that's what American people want. And it didn't matter what color, who they slept with, or whatever their deal was. We want to feel good together.
And winning brings people together. Like, as a country, if you start to
And having the opportunity to feel like you can win feels great too.
Up next, a Dem mayor comes to his senses about migrant offenses.
Yeah. Gross.
New Yorkers deck the halls
Stupid
now
noses
that a mayor
running.
found his cojones. Not gonna say. Earlier today, New York City Mayor Eric Adams met with Trump border czar Tom Homan to address the city's
I wish I
very
could see
terrible illegal migrant crisis. It's the first time.
I wish I could see what them cats were doing right now. They're making a whole bunch of noise up there. The way I got them blocked off, I can't look in. I'm probably happy about that. They have privacy. It's playing with their water ball. Cut it out. You dump that water, that's going to be it till I get home.
Homan sat down with a Democrat mayor. They talked about improving
I heard the
public
water bowl
safety by
slosh. Somebody
deporting
playing with their
illegal
water
aliens
bowl.
and those who pose security
Lord
threats.
have mercy.
And they'll deal with Stuart Varney later. And
That's
here's Adams
ridiculousness.
talking about the meeting and how it went.
We're not going to be a safe haven for those who commit repeated violent crimes, innocent migrants, immigrants, and longstanding New Yorkers. That was my conversation today with the border czar.
Stop moving that water
to
bowl
figure
around.
out how do we go after those individuals
You hear me?
who are repeatedly committing crimes in our city.
Hey.
To his
Stop
credit,
it.
Mayor Adams, who is a Democrat, has been critical of the lack of federal help under Biden. In fact, even as I speak, George Clooney is writing a nasty op-ed about him. Which is why Adams
I wish it
recently
would warm up
expressed a
outside.
willingness to work with the Trump administration to close migrant shelters and deport criminals. After all, violent criminals should be sent to where they belong, San Francisco. Andrew, I was thinking this morning, and put it out here for you to comment on. Trump is, do you think he's giving people cover to do
Whatever.
what they may have wanted to do in the past, but they felt they couldn't because of politics? And so he's saying, I'll take the heat. You have to do what I'm going to say. That's you're going to need to be for what's going to happen.
Coffee
and
is
people wanna
good.
do that. So that's a
Coffee
really
is
good
good.
observation, but I will say
Coffee.
in the case of governor, right? In case of Mayor Adams, I think it was the opposite. I think he actually spoke out too early, then the investigations against him, and I think this is nothing more than him doing a real big public 180 to try and go for that pardon.
Yeah,
right?
it's
And
ridiculous.
on the day that he got indicted, it was the day that he was flying. He was
Yeah,
on the
he
plane
was.
on the way to go see Biden at the White House.
Yeah.
To talk about migrant crisis issues and the flight around and come back. I don't know if it was
Ciao, Leo.
coincidence or not, but yeah.
Yeah, and I also get something that's completely
I would like to
unrelated,
sit
but I'm gonna
down
say it
now.
Anyway,
Thank
we got
you.
to mention that Adams is a vegan.
Yes, and,
Good girl.
he looks good in his suits.
Look, he's a strong.
Are you for vegans? Like, do you cook vegan for people if they want it?
Would cook a vegan.
Okay.
I would cook a vegan.
I also, I pictured that for some reason. I also think that Adams, there was a huge missed opportunity here because
That's funny.
if Adams showed up at this meeting with like a big old blonde comb over, just totally emulating Trump and started speaking like him, he would have been all in on that pardon immediately. You could have bought the pardon online.
I did not do that.
Kat, is the enemy of your enemy all of a sudden your friend?
They're stealing my heating pad.
It's
Trying to get behind me.
People have gotten so
Take my
extreme
heating
with,
pad
you
off
know,
of me.
The enemy. This is the enemy. You can't sit with the enemy. Actually,
She's
talk
something
about
else,
this
I'll tell you
as
what.
if it's like, okay, Eric Adams is now
Heating
a
pad
super
hog.
guy, and how dare he? What is he supposed to do? He's been saying this is a problem here.
She's
in
a
your
heating
city.
pad hog.
I feel like my hands are tied. I feel like I don't have the resources to do. I'd like to start exploring options for how
Hey,
I
can I
help
get
with my
some
city
room? I just
safer
want to sit on
to
the
get
heating pad for 5
specifically
minutes.
violent criminals off of the again.
Thank
should be a
you.
very
Leah,
non-controversial goal, right?
stop
To
that.
get non-violent criminals off the street, let alone the fact that a lot of these people, taxpayers, are paying for them to also have things here. But
Damn,
I know
Moose,
that
you're
this is
working that
controversial,
bone,
and I
boy.
think it's good to see any politician,
Working that
anytime you
bone.
see them saying, I'm willing to work with someone who has a different letter.
I wonder what it's
next
like
to
in
or
the
some
live stream.
administration with a different letter next to their name to do what's best for my constituents. It shouldn't be
That's my dog
controversial.
chewing a
It
bone.
really shouldn't.
It's just a pit bull working his teeth.
Weird that this is actually a news topic that two people can sit down and say, how do we get illegal crime in our streets?
Yeah, two people who have committed their lives to law enforcement talking about enforcing the laws.
Hilarious.
Whoa, radical idea. I want to push back. I don't think he's seeking a pardon. I think we need to. I think we need to
No.
start thinking about the weaponization of the DOJ. We saw it with President Trump. He decided to go against the grain. They wouldn't use it towards him. It's not like Bragg and the other ones have nothing else to do with their time. It's not like they're prosecuting real criminals in the street. I firmly believe when he took the job as mayor, he tried to be in line. But I always think of it in the movie Tombstone, where Wyatt Earp's brothers looking around, seeing the crowd in the streets, and no one wanted to get involved. And he's like, damn it, we need law and order. And I think he finally decided, I'm a policeman first. And if that means elected again, I got women and children not safe in the streets. And he decided to do something about it. And we need to really look at why wouldn't the government
Yeah, I've been appreciating Alvin Bragg a little bit now.
illegals, but from American citizens. Half the stuff we're seeing out 21 times, out the day up. And he's a police officer, and he's trying to bring order back. And President Trump, and his whole thing has been to bring back law and order. So, of course, he's going to support Mayor Adams. Not because they're going to sit down and have what
I
is
mean,
it?
Adams,
I don't know,
not
char pudding, or whatever the hell it is.
Like
brag.
a cauliflower steak.
Like rabbit-free lettuce. I don't know, but whatever it is. But they do agree on one thing: presidency means nothing if the country's not safer. All that fighting and struggle goes for nothing. So Mayor Adams, doesn't matter if he's Democrat or Republican. Policemen don't care whether you're a donkey or an elephant. All they care is not breaking the law. So I think that's...
You dropped your bone.
Jeff, I think I'm
Get
thinking
your
about
bone.
you today because you come into the
Good
city
boy.
over the last several years, and you must have noticed a terrible difference.
Yeah, well, I also think the way that people look at strange. They go, oh, they're not just coming, you know, like, oh, the deportation of the criminals. I think, but if you're just in a country illegally, that's a crime. You know that's a crime. I can't just go to other countries and go, I live here now. That would be illegal.
You have to
Being
pay for a
illegal is
visa.
crime. How people don't understand that. They're also like
to visit
sweet about it.
countries.
Here's an analogy young people might get. What if you spent 10 grand to see Taylor Swift, you know? And then you're very excited to see her, maybe get a picture with her or something, or look at her. But then instead they just fill the stadium with, I don't know, 100,000 people, you know, that free tickets, and then they get free Swift. They don't even want to see Taylor Swift. They're wearing Selena Gomez shirts. They're talking about how the show sucks and Swift sucks. You'd probably get a little bitter, like, hey, how did this happen? Get them the hell out.
Well, we'll see what happens. I agree. Did you go to it?
That's a good analogy, actually.
No, but if I paid to see one, I'd want to see it.
You'd want to see it.
Yeah.
Want to see it. Did anybody here go? Anybody here?
No.
Wow, the silence is deafening. Up next, are aliens invading our home or just a kid with a drone?
I don't think kids have SUV drones. That's just me, though. They're going to talk about the drones. Good.
Should we be concerned? Mysterious drones over New Jersey. Are we dealing with a war of the worlds situation? Foreign adversary? Nerdy tech enthusiasts? Are they just planes, drones, or something far more sinister? There was a big debate earlier, and somebody told me their theory. They think it's just planes. Jeff, do you think it's just planes going into Newark and all of a sudden people are freaking out that it's a drone?
I don't really know why we're spending so much money on defense if they can't tell us what this is.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, I think it's fine if they don't want to tell me, right? They'll say, it's
Right.
none of your business. You're
It's
some
just-
guy,
it's-
whatever. I get
what do
that
they call
argument, but maybe I could get some money back.
Not undisclosed,
Every time they don't
disclosed
have a good answer for us,
information.
we should be like, all right, where's our little we don't know refund?
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you have a theory?
I think it
Well,
does.
first, I'm going to agree with that because when I flew out here, like I went through TA. They found a 2-centimeter piece of lint in my pocket, and I had to go through like a 20-minute cavity search, full body cavity search.
I mean, you can't travel with lint?
I mean, seriously, I've been walking with a limp ever since. Not a lint, a limp. And so,
Not a
so
lint,
I'm going to
a
go
limp.
with the
That's funny.
Occam's razor inside of me and just say that
She
this
steals
is
my
the
heating
government.
pad
There's
every
no way it's
day.
not the government, and they
She's
know about
literally
it. They're
halfway
lying to
behind
us
my
because
back
that's
right
the
now.
most simple explanation. There's no way
It's
that
ridiculous.
they don't know what's flying over the skies when we've got like 13 different agencies with $20 billion
leave that food
budgets,
bowl alone,
and
kitty.
somebody there in the backyard who's throwing out 40 drones that look like a Mitsubishi 323 hatchback. No way. I'm not buying it. I love Mitsubishi.
Well, Japanese. I don't know. They haven't mentioned that yet. But so,
I wish she'd stop getting in my
yesterday,
face
Congressman
on
from
me.
New Jersey, Tyrus, Jeff Van Drew,
Come
he
on,
said,
man. That tail's
it's the
wicked.
Iranians. It's coming from Iranian ship. And then the Pentagon said, nope, it's not the Iranians. And I said, oh, well, then now ask if it's the Chinese.
Yeah.
And because if they start denying everything, then maybe we can get to an answer.
Okay, I'm going to help this segment. I'm going to omit the whole leg thing. I'm going to let it go.
Okay, that cat is going to
Okay, first
dump
of
that
all,
water
the funniest thing I
everywhere.
heard was Iranian drones.
Right.
Iran is a hiccup away from not existing anymore while Jerusalem decides how they're going to
What
cut
the
their
fuck
turkey up.
is this
But they're
cat
going to send
doing?
the drones over to America. They're going to need those drones to carry out what's left of their leadership. That's the dumbest thing ever. Listen, I watch a lot of Skin Ranch. I love Skinwalker Ranch. It's on his channel. Check it out. Phenomenal. I'm actually planning a trip to go there. Those spears look very similar. Now, I'm currently staying in a secret location in New Jersey. My family could see them all in the sky over our house. We were trying to pick them up. So this, some were bigger, some were smaller. This is probably aliens getting ready to leave for the winter. But their favorite place to watch is human shenanigans in the Jersey Shore. So they're all lining up. looking at the stuff going, this is why we don't come down. We stay up here. When you
Lord have mercy, that female cat barrel.
And then they take off, and then when they go, hey, what'd you see?
Go lay down.
See the
Go lay
Jersey
down.
Shore. They need at least another 10,000 years before we make contact. The safest place for them to fly around is Utah. It's Skinwalker Ranch, where I'm going to go. But yeah, it's aliens. Our government, that's what they always do when it's the UFO. They're like, oh, we know what it is. Like,
Well, Kat, you're skeptical of government anyway. So what do you think is going on?
So I can't believe the government is getting away with its explanations for these drones, because saying at the same time, we have no idea what these are. They're also saying, we know that there's nothing to worry about here. How do you know that there's nothing to worry about if you don't know what they are? It's like classic gaslighting. It's like when the girl DMs you and says, hey, like the hey girl message, like, hey girl, so he didn't tell me he had a girlfriend, but I see that you guys are together and we've been seeing each other, blah, blah, blah. And the guy goes, I have no idea who that is, and also she's insane. The exact same thing. Only people who are hiding something do this.
It's not Iran, I'll tell you that.
Why?
What?
How do you know?
Because they say that they're making these sophisticated drones. Can anyone name what car Iran makes?
What are you doing?
That's true.
No one knows, and all of a sudden now they're making these fancy things. I mean, they're getting a little funny from China, I'm sure, but let's get to the bottom of it. Why should I know more than our defense?
I think
this is a good question.
I think if you're bigger, you're safe. I think smaller people like yourself can fit in the little spears. No, for real. Like if they kidnap me and my shoulders kept hitting the hole, like, sir, we want the big one. We don't have the technology for that. They have to put me back. So I think if you're small and make comments about legs, and usually shows up to work here about 5 a.m., she'd fit right in. You just zoom her up. The only thing is she's very opinionated, so you're going to bring her back.
Eddie. Eddie.
Do you guys remember in Men in Black when it was the sugar
Eddie out in the morning.
and
Cold.
He wants to ban sugar? He might be onto something here.
You're right. That's true. But okay, here was another thing that came up to me. The last point, Andrew, I'll send it to you.
If that female cat doesn't calm down before I leave, I might have to put the coats on the dogs. Take them to the playpen. Thinking about it.
It was pointed out to me today that there's
I gotta
no
walk 'em
good
soon anyway.
video of these so-called drones, and that's why they think they're just planes going into Newark.
But we've all seen the video. That's what's hilarious. Is like we've seen the video. You were watching.
I see it in real time. They're higher than the plane levels.
Yeah.
The helicopters that are trying to look at them, they're significantly higher than. They're just that bright.
They are higher.
Their planes are flying.
They are.
underneath
You
them.
think?
Joey Jones
Listen.
said on the 5 that you.
Look at my shorts. I have a video. Okay. They were flying above the moon's length. They were way up there where like air travel is. Like commercial air travel. They were all together. You can see the video of my shorts. So what Tyrus is saying is 100% true.
That's what's hilarious. Is like we've seen the video. You were watching.
I see it in real time. They're higher than the plane levels.
Yeah.
The helicopters that are trying to look at them, they're significantly higher than. They're
Yeah.
just that bright.
It's
because
true.
The planes are flying underneath them.
Well, and Joey Jones said on the 5 that you can't just shoot them because they move this way.
Yeah, here's the other thing. All planes flash lights. Helicopters, they have to flash lights. They have to signal.
Yeah.
These things
They
don't
have to
flash.
have running
If we shoot
running
them down, will
lights.
we get in trouble if they don't even know what the hell it is?
Well, you shoot ET down, who's he going to call to go home? So you,
I'm saying, like, let's shoot them down, and then they'd be like, you can't do that. And you're like, you didn't even know what it was. Why
you
can't
want
I
to
shoot?
you want two people in New Jersey shooting
Yeah,
in the air.
Yeah.
Shine a green laser on those things and see who knocks on them. We'll know who they are.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what, Tyrus? You should definitely do that tonight, and then let us
Actually,
know
I'll have
tomorrow.
big green lights. Dana Perino. You can find her at 6 a.m.
Jersey Shore. All right. Coming up, troubled teens with designer jeans.
Designer jeans. Who gives a fuck about designer jeans?
Technology, software, our data. Let's experiment, honey.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. Science corner. Yeah. Fast clap.
Science Corner. The psychological
Designer
and emotional
babies.
challenges faced by so-called designer babies who are now teenagers. So these are kids who were screened as embryos for genetic diseases or had egg and sperm donors picked specifically for special traits like blue eyes, black hair, or being taller than Greg. So, according to Wired magazine, a lot of these teens now feel like walking science experiments, and parents are disappointed with how they turned out. This has led to low self-esteem and expensive therapy.
Wow.
It goes to show that even with the best plans, raising kids isn't easy. While some parents get blessed with a perfect child.
Yeah.
Like I did.
I did too.
Just kidding, it's not a real kid. Okay, Kat, you're an expectant mom.
Yes.
And what do you think of this idea that people went in and said, okay, I want specifically blue eyes, and figuring out a way to do this and think that there wouldn't be any consequences later on?
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to just kind of roll the dice, which is why it's so scary. Like, I didn't wait until I was a geriatric pregnancy age to have a kid because I wasn't terrified about what's about to happen. Like, this kid could suck. This kid, I don't know, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I mean, even in my own family, right? Me and my two siblings, I love them both. We're all very close. We're all very different people. My sister, we had the same shot, the same combination of DNA, and yet she's a million better looking than I am.
Yeah.
She grows her hair herself. It's crazy. So I think you can try it. If you try to control it, that's something that you really can't control. I mean, I will just wait and see. This kid could be. That's the terrifying thing about it. I could be setting myself up to live in a house with a person that's a terrible hang.
You can't stand.
And
A terrible hang.
I went through all of this just for a kid who grew up to be a terrible
But that's
hang.
personality. Some of this virus is about like physical
dropped your
traits
bone
that
again.
parents were wanting.
You know, I
You
think
gonna
it's
grab
funny
it?
because one day at dinner
Get your
table, his
bone.
dad was like,
Get the bone.
$10,000
You want
for
me to
this?
get it? I'm not.
You know, like,
Good boy.
do you know how much it set me back to get your blue eyes, big hair, 6'4"?
All right, you
Get your
guys.
ass up in the morning to be on time for school?
That was interesting. Designer babies are now flawed. Duh. Everyone is flawed. Everyone. I'm a horrible person. Anyways, I hope you guys amazing day. Even if you're feeling bad, put a smile on your face, because eventually that smile will catch to you and your attitude will change. If you're dealing with problems today, give them to God. And remember that the moment you start worrying about it again, you take the power away from God and you start trying to deal with your own problems. And stress causes cortisol, which will kill you. So please, Lord, have a happy day. Choose happiness. Don't listen to sad music. Don't watch horrible crap on the internet or on the TV. Away from, things that are going to make you unhappy. Choose happiness today. Have a great day. And probably see you tonight. Bye.